5. On non-cooperation with what is wrong, and on mobilizing the human totality based on the self-evident truth of prior unity. The Global Cooperative Forum would not be some kind of a global parliament coming up with ideas and saying, "Would all you governments out there please respond?" and "Would all you corporations please change your act?" There is a global collapse happening, and it is not going to be stopped merely by education or by appeals to people's good nature based on information only. The Global Cooperative Forum has to have the means of the nearly 7 billion people saying they insist on change. The nearly 7 billion can, on the one hand, cooperate with one another and engage in a global cooperative, and, on the other hand, they can practice non-cooperation with patterns and systems that are not serving human life and well-being. That capability to refuse to cooperate with the status quo is what gives the global collective its force. If the human totality understood what the issues were and organized itself to refuse to cooperate, refuse to buy, refuse to consume relative to what is intrinsically and clearly wrong, then that is a means for change. It is simply taking the power of the human totality and systematically applying it to its own business. It is not revolutionary and not intended in any kind of negative sense. As fragmented cells, or tribes, human beings do not have the power to change the human domain. But humankind as a totality has the power, and so humankind must assume the power that is intrinsic to itself. It is not a matter of separate little movements attempting to change things, but one force of humankind functioning intercommunicatively and cooperatively, and taking action relative to what needs to be changed. The method of collective non-cooperation is most effective if applied by total populations, and best applied by the totality of humankind. In fact, the only way for non-violent non-cooperation not to end up being divisive is to begin with everybody all at once. If non-violent non-cooperation is only applied in certain zones of action, there are people on the yes side and people on the no side, resulting in divisiveness that can be surrounded by a lot of violence, no matter how non-violent the original intention. Non-violent initiatives in violent zones have to be truly protected by the larger environment of everybody all at once. That is the force that undermines misuse of power everywhere, including violent power. If the method of nonviolent non-cooperation is applied at the scale of the totality of humankind, there is effectively no other side. When the whole system is applying the principle of prior unity to itself, the outcome should be entirely positive, because the Earth system, which is intrinsically a unity, is being restored to its integrity. The Global Cooperative Forum is a new basis for politics, society, culture, economics, and the entire human process, but you cannot argue people into it. If you had to argue nearly 7 billion people into deciding to agree with prior unity and choose the Global Cooperative Forum, it would never be able to begin. Prior unity and the need to implement prior unity via a Global Cooperative Forum must be presented as tacitly, self-evidently heart-true, and everyone's participation is to be invited on that basis. In fact, the Global Cooperative Forum begins in the instant of its being communicated to the human population. Everybody all at once has the immediate ability to implement it, by virtue of everyone hearing the message and seeing the tacit obviousness of it. The happening of truth is not through the mind. It is at the heart. Truth is not a proposition argued over against other propositions. Truth is self-evident because the heart authenticates it in the moment of reception. Truth is an embrace, just as love is. You do not get argued into love. It is self-evidently right. One responds to truth as one does to love, simply through recognizing it. It is not about argument, not about the domain of mind or of opposites. That is how the Global Cooperative Forum will come about. It will happen with everybody all at once, because it is right. It is true. It is so. There is no argument either for or against it. It is simply self-evidently true, immediately on the moment of its presentation. Merely to create another NGO or some kind of entity that is going to try and convince everybody through argument, or essentially the play of opposition, to join a Global Cooperative Forum is never going to work. It will just be another piece of the tribal world. Prior unity is not a union of many. Prior unity is an intrinsic unity in which there is no separateness, no difference, no otherness, no opposition, no duality. It is one. The working presumption of prior unity can, therefore, address anything and self-organize it, straighten it, make it right, and just get on with it. The working presumption of prior unity has never been the basis of human action before. Nevertheless, it is the truth basis for human action, the reality basis for human action, and, therefore, the divine basis for human action. The Global Cooperative Forum has no flags, no name tags, no placards, no separate anything, no opponents. It is intrinsically nonviolent, not strategically, but because it has no opponent to defeat. If anyone refuses the truth of prior unity, he or she is simply shunning it, and does not thereby become an opponent. The Global Cooperative Forum is a prior unity forum of everybody all at once, and so it does not have anybody to overwhelm or to defeat, because everybody inherently belongs to this one process and is simply part of the happening of prior unity in the form of the totality of humankind. The urgency of the global situation is such that the foundation work of activating the totality of humankind via the Global Cooperative Forum must happen now, so that during the next few years there can be global conversion of all systems to a right functioning in the context of the total system.